A blatant effort by Texas to gerrymander 5 further Republican seats in the state has driven some blue states to finally decide to drop the old rulebook and finally match the Republicans' prison rules aesthetic and stop bringing a cooked spaghetti noodle to a sword fight. They drafted referendums to engage in midterm redistricting, and they have passed. There are a couple of legal challenges, but by and large, it looks like most or all of the Democratic redistricting efforts will stand. On top of that, the Republicans' redistricting attempts are banking on keeping the newfound gains Trump and the Republicans had made with voters of color, particularly Hispanics. Unfortunately for them, those voters appear to be fleeing in droves. If we have unusually high midterm turnout, which we have in the last 2 midterm elections, and there's reason to believe this one could be even higher, that shift could cost them dearly, and they could end up losing more seats from their gerrymandering efforts than they gain, with the likelihood of the Democratic efforts succeeding being even more salt in the wounds of what could be a historic loss for the Republicans. That's why they're proposing the SAVE Act. That's why President Trump is trying to push its worst provisions through by executive order, and that's why they're attempting to exert control over the election process in any way possible, up to and including having a partisan actor purchase major voting systems, seizing the ballots in Fulton County, and attempting to shake down other states and localities for their voter records and rolls as well. So what can we do? For starters, you can call your local lawmaker, particularly your senators, since the SAVE Act has already passed the House. Let them know you're completely fine with voter ID, but that a poll tax in any form is un-American and unconstitutional, and make it very clear that the bill, especially in its current form, is a complete non-starter and an unacceptable piece of legislation that under no conditions should they support. In addition to that, knowing our opponents are trying to rig the game in every possible way they can, and they may succeed in some of them, our focus then has to shift to not just trying to stop them from implementing all of their plans. They're attempting so many things at once, some of it will likely succeed. We have to focus on harnessing the growing discontent with their policies and turning that into a political force that creates a blue wave that is too big to rig. This is our best and possibly only chance to remove Trump before he can do significantly more damage to our civil rights, global standing, and reputation. We can do this by focusing not on the letter next to someone's name on a ballot, but their actual stances and policy positions. If you have the choice of someone who thinks ICE should be required to wear body cams and be disallowed from wearing masks, or someone who wants to abolish ICE and see them stand trial for their crimes, or the choice between someone who talks out of both sides of their mouth about the new war in Iran versus someone who is firmly against it, or between a candidate who refuses to take corporate lobbyist or military-industrial complex money and one who is awash in it, in every instance, we need to pick the more progressive candidate. Particularly if you're in a district held by some of the most spineless members of leadership like Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries, do all you can to support any progressive primary challengers. We the people are fed up with the Democrats perpetually laying down in a chalk outline of themselves. The mood in this country is more progressive than I've ever seen. We've got wine moms out here sounding like Che Guevara. If we harness the power of that political movement, we could see a true progressive wave, one that not only takes back the House, but seizes control of the Senate. But Trump and the Republicans are not going to make it easy, and hundreds of years of election integrity hangs in the balance. We must remain vigilant at all costs and ready to counter anything they throw at us. All power to the people.